Wannabe Solo Survivor. Solo Survivor. Wannabe Solo Survivor. Hey everybody, Ruckus in the North here, and we are tuning in today to talk about our gear and food list. So, what I decided is that it would be a quick video. I'm just going to lay out what I planned and what I decided. So if you look on the list, I've got two different sections, well, three actually. I've got a preliminary backyard hike list, title, and underneath that is all the gear that I would want to bring. Underneath that is my food list, and what I like to do is map out my food in days and then meals during each day. So I have morning, lunch, evening, and then I've got my snacks all mixed in there. And I list for each day what I want to eat. Also, I've got a drink list because quite often I just include the food and then I include the drink later on. So if you look closely, I'm just going to go through it real quick. I've got an axe. That's going to be good for chopping wood and getting wood ready. In a provincial park, you'll get it all given to you. I haven't needed an axe very often in a provincial park when I'm car camping, but backcountry camping, I'm definitely going to need to have my axe. Pocket knife, I wrote ×2 because I have a couple different kinds. I wish I had a Swiss Army knife, but I lost mine when I was a child, and I haven't, I don't know, I've been too cheap to buy one, I guess. May need to buy one, I think. First aid kit. First aid kit is definitely a priority. You always have to be prepared when you're in the backcountry to take care of yourself. The smallest cut could become infected and could cause serious problems. Cooking stove and cook set and stove fuel, that's very important. Normally I cook with a Coleman stove that is a little bit large, and unfortunately it tends to be just a little bit too much for camping out in the backcountry. Anyways, yeah, I use it for car camping. It's really awesome. I can grill like steaks on there and boil water at the same time. Matches and lighter, definitely. I'm going to bring both, and I'm going to seal them up in a plastic bag. Rope, it's always good to have some extra rope, and I recently found a really cool craft that people do, and it's called a survival bracelet, where they use parachute cord, tie it in a certain type of knot, and it's a bracelet you wear on your wrist, and then when something happens in the bush, you can pull that out and you've got like 20 feet of rope available out of nowhere, which was really just wrapped around your wrist the whole time. So I'm going to look into that a little bit more for carrying rope. And what I also have is a tent. That I'm going to use a small tent that I had with me and the kids. Yeah, well, it was for the kids, and unfortunately it didn't work out too well this summer for them. I don't know. It's all I have. It's all I have that's small and backpackable, so I'm going to try to use it. You'll see sleeping pad and sleeping bag. I don't have a sleeping pad that's a self-inflatable. I'm looking at one. I definitely have to get one for winter camping. Right now I've got like a foam pad, and I'm going to bring that. And sleeping bag, I don't know the R value on my sleeping bag as well. I may need to get a new one of those too. Let's hope I don't, but we're going to find out. Food, yeah, I always rate food. Bucksaw, yeah, bucksaw was going to be really handy if I've got to cut big logs. Combine that with the axe. None of this is any particular order. I'll post it in the comments is what I think I'm going to do for this video, so you can get an idea of what I'm going to bring. This is all for the backyard hike. This list is going to be updated and revised for the backcountry hike. I'm going to use this, learn what I need and what I don't need, either lighten up the load or bring more, and just go from there. Spare socks. Always have spare socks. I can't stress that enough. Spare t-shirt. So I'm going to go in with one set of clothes. I'm going to have a spare set just in case I get wet. It is cold this time of year, and hypothermia is a real possibility. So I have to be prepared. Spare jogging pants and spare underwear. Yeah. Organic soap. If I have to wash myself at any point in time, organic soap will break down easily in the lakes and streams that I'm camping in, and it won't harm any of the natural vegetation there. Towel, yes. Bear mace. Bear mace. I was walking through the bush the other day, and I took a look, and I said, that's bear season. They're getting ready for bed, and I have no protection. Bear mace is definitely, I have it, and I'm gonna bring it for sure. I wrote jacket down. I don't really know what I mean there. Probably a coat. So then I wrote wool sweater, wool undershirt, wool underpants, wool socks, and wool pants. I don't have wool underpants. I'm going to use my cotton ones, which is a big no-no. And I don't have a wool undershirt. But I do have a shirt that is very thin and small that I'm going to wear underneath and use that as a base layer. So wool pants, I'm going to buy some. I found a Codet wool pant for sale. I'm going to price it and get my size. About $100 for this pair of pants. I think it's all going to be well worth it when I get involved with the winter camping. So I got to keep that in mind. I wrote Tinder down, paper in quotes. I'm going to bring that for right now. I'm going to look for other news sources of Tinder while I'm out in the bush. Hopefully things aren't going to be wet when I get out there, and I'll have an easy time starting fires. Hiking poles, I have a pair in the garage. I never use them really. I haven't gone mountain hiking in a very long time, but I am going to bring them. It's something to hold in my hand while I'm walking that can benefit me while I'm out there. Boots, good ankle support in the boots is a must. I wear Scarpa Barun GTX boots, I believe they are called. I spent a lot of money on them so that they could be ultra light, and they are very, very uncomfortable. They do keep warm while you're moving, but the second you stop moving, you get quite cold at this time of year. So that's going to be interesting. I am bringing those again, and I'm going to learn, see if I can insulate them somehow. I wrote compass, always bring a compass. A map, always bring a map. And GPS. Your batteries can fail, your GPS can fail. Bring a GPS. It's a good tool for out in the forests and backcountry nowadays. But always bring a backup map and a compass just in case. I'm bringing my flashlight with spare batteries, and I'm probably going to bring more than one, I think, because I have a couple different types, and they can be prone to error. Toilet paper, no need to talk about that. I'm going to bring some. Some people use leaves and whatnot. I think I'm just going to bury my toilet paper when I'm done with it, or burn it. We will find out what's more appropriate there. Toiletries, my toothbrush and toothpaste. I wear contacts and glasses, so I'm going to bring both so that I have a spare in case something were to happen to me. Ukulele. Well, Survivor Man's got his harmonica. I'm thinking of bringing a ukulele out. I'm going to waterproof a bag, bring that out with me. I don't know how to play a ukulele. I've always wanted to learn. I think this is a great time for me to learn how to play a new instrument. Food storage bag. I want to have a bag that's solid, waterproof, that I can bring into the bush and store my food in, and then I can hang that from a ways up so that bears or other animals won't get into it at night. Small tarp. I'm going to use that for a place to cook under or get shelter under. Water. Well, you always got to bring water in. Emergency blanket. I have one. I'm going to use that as a base under my tent. I'll show you when I get there on how I'm going to do that. A dry bag for sleeping bag. I don't own a dry bag right now of any kind. I do have one, but it's massive. What I'm going to use is a garbage bag for my sleeping bag. Dry bag for clothes. Again, same thing. I'll use a garbage bag for that. Cooking rag. I always bring a rag. The pots get hot. Gloves, same thing, but I can use a cooking rag for drying things if I have to at the same time, or cleaning. Hat. It's always important to protect yourself from the sun. Sunglasses, survival kit. Now I wrote that down. I'm not quite sure what I was thinking at that point in time, but I'm thinking it should have some flint and tinder or some way to start fires if you have to, and maybe a little bit of rope. A lot of different little things in that. So the survival kit thing is something I just want to grow upon and bring with me as a backup survival aid if something were to go wrong with everything else I have here. This would be something that I could bring in my day pack if I wanted to do day hikes while I'm already camping in the backcountry, and I would use it for many other things. And I would combine that with my first aid kit so that I would have a chance of coping well in the backcountry and the forest if something were to go severely wrong. So that's what the point of that is. Cutlery, yeah, forks, spoon, and knife. Plastic bottle of water. I did write water, but a plastic bottle of water is going to be very handy, I think, so that I have a backup if something were to go wrong with any number of things. For example, I recently discovered I can use a plastic bottle of water and turn it into a minnow trap. That was the coolest thing I think I've seen in quite a while, because I always have a heck of a time catching minnows, and with a normal minnow trap, and I went out and spent money on one, and it didn't do me any good. And had I known I could have used a plastic bottle of water to do the same thing, I would have tested that out first on the lake I was on, and it actually looked more successful. So I'm anxious to try that out. Poncho is good for rain, and it's big. It can fit over my gear and a whole bunch of other things, maybe even my pack. So I have to pick myself up one of those, probably from Canadian Tire. I also wrote salt and pepper and olive oil. I noticed that some dehydrated foods can be pretty dry and bland, so adding those ingredients, since the fat is gone and some of the seasoning taste is kind of dried out of it, that will just be good to have with me. So then we get into the food list. So the first day I'm going to be getting up at home here, and I'm going to be driving out and walking down the trail. I assume the trail is going to be about 12 to 14, 15 kilometers long. And I know that because I've already done part 2 of this video series where I've scoped out the land. You're going to see that in the next video. I'm really looking forward to making that for you. So anyways, I know that I'm going to be walking for probably about 2.5 hours to 3 hours, depending on how the day is. The road is a logging road. It's very clean, very clear. So I drive out, I leave home, I get out there by, I don't know, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. I walk for a couple hours, and obviously it's going to be after lunch hours, so I'm going to have some trail mix and a sandwich to snack. That sandwich I'm going to bring from home. It will go bad a couple days later, so that's why it's listed here. I'm going to bring beef jerky, and I'm going to make that in my dehydrator. I'm going to use eye of round roast and a recipe that I've been working on a little bit, and I've tried it before, but I think this time I'm going to have it nailed. Really excited about making the jerky. Pasta and sauce I'm going to make for dinner. That's going to be a dehydrated sauce with dehydrated ground beef and some mushrooms, I'm hoping. Maybe another thing or two in there. We'll make that recipe together in the upcoming videos. And then I've got trail mix or jerky. Any of the trail mix stuff I'm not going to do a video on. I'm just going to go to Bulk Barn. I'm going to find their trail mix with M&Ms, which I think is just awesome, and I'm going to eat that. Day 2, I'm going to wake up in the morning. I'm going to have some oatmeal, dried fruit, coffee, and pita bread. So I know from experience pita bread, is lightweight. It's going to last a few days, and I can just bring that with me as a fresh food. So I'm going to do that. For my coffee, I'm going to use not a decaffeinated. I'm going to use an instant coffee. Who am I kidding? Decaffeinated. I'm going to use an instant coffee, some coffee whitener, and sugar. I'm going to pre-mix that in bags, so I have enough for a couple cups of coffee each morning. And then oatmeal and dried fruit. What I want to do is get some quick oats and cook those up with some water, add some dehydrated fruit, and so I'll do a recipe on how I make the oatmeal and dehydrated fruit as well. On day 2, I cheated. I decided to pick Kraft Dinner for lunch, and that's just because it comes in a box. I can burn the box, I can burn the packaging, I can eat the noodles, and it's just easy peasy, and I've got very little time to do all this because it is getting cold out, and I want to get through all this hiking before the snow's on the ground, because I am not prepared for winter camping at this moment. Jerky, again, is my mid-afternoon snack, and then I've got rice stir-fry for dinner. That's exciting because I plan on using some instant rice, variety of vegetables, and some dehydrated meat in there. Probably do ground beef again. Mix all that up with a little bit of soy sauce and a nice hot pot, and have that for dinner. So that I haven't tried yet either. Day 3, I picked oatmeal again. I don't eat a lot of breakfast. Monday to Friday, I'm the same thing. I don't eat breakfast, and I snack for lunch, and I eat a big dinner. And I do that every day of the week. It's very unhealthy, but that's just my habit. So I have a very hard time figuring out breakfasts. So I'm going to bring 2 days worth of oatmeal, which I don't think is implausible. And for this first trek out, I think that's pretty good. I got a couple major meals I'm going to make. I'm going to do a pasta and sauce with meat. I'm going to do a rice stir fry, and I'm going to do an oatmeal meal and make my own beef jerky. So that's quite a lot of things I'm going to make from scratch. I'm excited about doing it, and the upcoming videos I'm going to be making before the backyard hike are going to revolve around how I make all these meals and prepare them ahead of time. So that's the one of the upcoming steps that I plan on doing. Then for drink list, I wrote water. I'm definitely bringing, enough water that I don't have to worry about it right away, but there is nearby water source I can boil up, so I'm good for that too. Coffee, I'm bringing, like I mentioned up on top in the food list, and then Hawaiian punch I wrote down. I found these non-sugar, low fat, no fat actually. It's like Mio, and I add it to my water, and it just makes it taste so good. And I love Hawaiian punch. So I'm bringing that. That's my drink list. So I think overall this list is complete, and I'm looking forward to getting it all ready. Maybe I'll do a couple quick shots later on of just all my gear as I'm preparing it. I think that's part of the plan for the videos. And I'll do that maybe in the packing up gear section. I'll show it all. So thank you very much, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And please keep track of what's going on. It's really exciting and things are progressing. So tune back in next time. I'll be surveying the Crown Land area and looking at what the real overall goal is going to be. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you very much and have a good day.